My name is Zafar Malik. At that time, I was a lawyer by profession, and I was elected as a Joint Secretary, Province of Punjab, National Awami Party, NAP. So I was a political worker as well as a lawyer. 42 years ago, what I did was not that I did it to create Bangladesh. Sitting in Pakistan, at that time it was Pakistan. Mashraqi Pakistan, East Pakistan, and West Pakistan. So people, even in West Pakistan at that time, thought that things were going wrong. The army was playing definitely a very bad role. So were the bureaucracy, so were the dominant feudal class. We call them establishment. So at that time, people like us, they thought that this is not good, this is not fair, this is undemocratic, and it may break the country. So I remember that when, firstly, when the martial law was imposed, people like me, we were very disturbed. We were upset. We didn't know what to do. We started in our own way, passing resolutions, running around here, there, all that things. But later on, when the elections were announced, I was elected Punjab Joint Secretary, and elections took place. Awami League won elections in East Pakistan, and some parties in West Pakistan, like People's Party, like NAP. NAP also won few seats, and Jamiyat Ulama Islam, they were the major parties at that time. So that was the time. So people like me and myself, we thought that power should be transferred to the winning party, Awami League. It's our part. We should stay together, we should live together, and we should be a democracy. We should be a secular, if not secular, at least non-religious state. But unfortunately, when you're struggling, you don't know what the other power groups, or what have they in their mind, what designs they have. So you are just struggling. So at that time, when the army action was announced in then East Pakistan, we felt very disturbed, upset. And we were totally against it. We tried to organize processions, we tried to organize pamphleteering, we tried to organize signature campaigns. So I was active in all these things. And besides that, my colleagues were getting arrested, other people were getting arrested, other human rights activists were getting arrested. So I, being a lawyer, I was fighting their cases in summary military courts, because summary military courts are, the courts where usually a lawyer is hardly needed, and you just don't feel like going there, because their decisions, what they have to decide. Anyway, I was doing that also. Then time came when our voices were throttled. When there was one more problem in whole of Pakistan, but especially in central Punjab from where I came. There was a very strong social and religious and political pressure against Mujibur Rahman, against Awami League, against Bengalis winning the elections. Now, let's be fair, let's be honest. So much so that our own friends, our own families, calls were going on. We were under pressure. And I remember they used to say, "You're good politicians, you're progressive politicians. What are you doing with Gaddar? What are you doing with the traitor? Leave him, he's a traitor," that kind of a. So those were very tough times, very hard times. my father, who never stopped me from coming into politics. He liked it. He used to discuss it with me. But he would also politely tell me, "Yaar, what are you doing? Do something else." But he wouldn't make it a hot argument. But his fatherly advice was that I should stop my activities, because everybody in Pakistan thought, not everybody, of course, leaving very few aside, people thought that Agartala case is right. People thought that Mujibur wants to break the country, and it's a plan, it's an international conspiracy. You see, it was so difficult that leave aside our neighbors, leave aside our communities, our own families. They were against us. They thought we are doing it for money. They thought we have become traitors. And since they knew me, they thought that he is a fool. So he is a fool, young, energetic man. He's a fool. He should be isolated, and he should not be supported. And of course, on any argument, they'll used to be end up in a quarrel. Any argument you had with anybody, your neighbor. So it was a very big harassment. Apart from that, this was the social harassment. Jamaat-e-Islami in Punjab, in Lahore, Lahore is the center of Jamaat-e-Islami and has always been. And Punjab, central Punjab has always been Jamaat-e-Islami's stronghold, strongest hold. That was there amongst lawyers' organizations. They had students' organizations. They had, of course, the political organization. So it was, you are always under threat from the government, from Jamaat-e-Islami, and the social pressure under which you were working was immense. Immense, believe you me. It was so difficult that sometimes we had to hide. Sometimes we actually had to hide. Our main consideration was what I was working for. Mujibur Rahman should be released. He should be given a fair trial, and the matter should be resolved through political means, through dialogue, through negotiations. And when the elections took place, the power should be transferred, power should be given to Mujibur Rahman and his party. They are the winners. And that way, we could live together, we could stay together, and that was that. You see, some of us, we decided to draft a statement, a joint statement, to be signed by prominent leaders, prominent activists, and prominent people who are meaningful people, so that there is a pressure, because we felt very much under pressure. So in order to put pressure back, to defend ourselves, and also to put pressure on the government and bureaucracy and establishment, we should take out a statement. So at that time, we took out that statement, and we ran after people, going to place, convincing them. And most of them, we were able, some of them voluntarily signed. So it was easy. Some people had to be convinced, but not much. And there is one dishonesty, a bad joke I did. I'm making a confession today for the first time. When we were running around and getting signatures, People's Party people were not signing. There was one lawyer, they call him a crackpot or whatever they may call him. He's a very nice man, very progressive man. His name was Sherry. He was from People's Party. He voluntarily signed that document. While we were running from place to place, trying to locate all the prominent people, there's a restaurant, the Shazan restaurant in Lahore, on the Mall. So I went in there. I saw one People's Party MN from our area sitting there. Gentleman's name was Rai Shahadat Khan Kharal. So we respected him, he respected us in the locality, in the area. We were also farmers, he was agriculturist, he was also. So I went to him and I said, Chacha, uncle, sign here. He asked me, my son, what is it? I gave him the impression, I don't remember the exact words, I gave him the impression, not being dishonest or cheating, but I leading him to think that it is some statement against Mujibur Rahman. So this is one dishonesty, cheating, a bad joke or whatever you may call it. I did it. He signed it. Now, nobody was going to publish that statement, all the newspapers refused. And of course, there were prominent people who had signed. I had myself also signed. So when we couldn't get a place, there was one good paper, Azad Akhbar. That Azad Akhbar, the progressive people were like Hamid Akhtar, like Abdullah Malik. They were running that paper. It belonged to a retired air marshal, so they had protection behind them. So they decided to publish that document in full, all the names and everything. Next day, when it came to, when it was published, People's Party immediately charged my uncle or whatever, Chacha or whatever you may call it. They called him. Few days later, he came to my office. He said, look, son, what have you done? Luckily, before that, there was a young journalist at that time. His name was Anwar Mazdaki. He had published a book about debacle of, no, it wasn't debacle yet. So he had published a book in which he had given all the details from the newspaper cuttings, what we said, what they said, but that all his tilt was towards that injustice is being done. And also, he reproduced that letter and gave all the names in his book. So when that infuriated uncle came to me, look, son, what have you done? I said, look here, uncle. Now you have become a man of history. Should I show you? Okay, he said, okay, show me. So I opened the book and I showed him, look, now you are in history. Your name, he was an innocent man. He was very happy. And the cost of Anwar Mazdaki had left a few books with me. He says, you sit in your office as a lawyer, people come to you, sell them for me. So the price was 20 rupees. So my uncle took about 10 or 15 of them together. So that was a bad joke or whatever you may call it. So that was the condition in that part of the country. There was a procession taken out by, which we had organized. It was a students' union, Pansu, which was affiliated with NAP in our party. Pansu means Punjab Students' Union. So Punjab Students' Union, under the leadership of my mother-in-law, they took out a procession and they were distributing some pamphlets. And as a matter of fact, my father-in-law was our leader. Behind the scene, he was, we were all working with him. So they were arrested, they got arrested. And not only that they got arrested, some others, Ahmed Salim, when my mother-in-law, she was here on the 24th, I suppose, Bangladesh. She had come to attend a meeting of NAP. So when she was staying with Professor Zafar. So maybe she has already given that part to you. So when she went back to Pakistan and told us, this is what's happening there, gruesome killing, she went up to Paltan Madan and saw all that, and then she flew. So people got more disturbed and more, So Ahmed Salim wrote a poem. He got arrested. Habib Jalib, whose daughter is here, Tahira Jalib, he also, he also wrote a poem and a kita. Many people did that. Faiz Saab has been writing that. So many small, big, popular poets and popular political people, they were doing all that. So amongst the lawyers, we were able to form a group which started more activities towards expanding our point of view, our friends. So that was that when it happened. I was a lawyer of all those young people. 7 or 8 of them were in jail. Asif Shakar, Mohsen Raza, Basit Mir, and many others. I've forgotten some of the names. And then, of course, Ahmad Salim, who's a representative, is here. He yesterday got the award. He's very seriously ill, but we are still in touch. And of course, I've been fighting cases of Habib Jalib, whose daughter is again here. He also got an award yesterday. So mostly I've been doing their cases whenever they got arrested at court, till I'm out. When I go in, Habib Jalib and myself and we people, number of times we've been together in jail also. So when I go in, then no cases. When I'm out, then I fight. I've been fighting the cases. When Bangladesh was not announced, when the in December, after the debacle of Dhaka, immediately they released all the prisoners who were arrested, who got arrested in this reference. So naturally there was a feeling of joyness amongst us, we people who were working for to safeguard the interest of the people of East Pakistan or Bangladesh at that time. So there were some sweets were distributed. My mother-in-law took sweets and those guys did it. But let me tell you one thing, I cried. I was so disturbed. I believed that our separation, our breaking away will harm more us than you. I'm very happy. I'm very pleased. I appreciate the people of Bangladesh that they think I did something 42 years ago which deserves their friendship, their reward, their appreciation. I'm grateful that the people of Bangladesh have chosen, and I'm one of them, to get that award. I really didn't know. I never thought I deserved it. Perhaps we could have, because we failed. We couldn't do anything. But there were many, many people, I can't give you the names, who also worked very hard on these lines. And at that time, anybody who discussed openly in favor of people of Bangladesh at that time, he was doing a tough job. It was a very tough job. So I'm grateful, I'm very appreciative. And 42 years ago, when I was doing all that, I didn't know that this little work will be recognized, appreciated by the people of Bangladesh.